Some stories are meant to be kept, not continued. There is a kind of sadness that is very difficult to explain. It is not the sadness of being betrayed. It is not the sadness of losing someone who treated you badly. It is the sadness of something beautiful ending. A story that was real. A connection that was genuine. Two people who cared about each other, and yet life took them in different directions. Sometimes I think we have been taught that if something ends, it failed. But I think some stories are meant to be kept as memories. Not because they were incomplete, but because they were complete in the time they were given. There are people who love each other deeply and still couldn't stay together. There are friendships that carried us through certain years of our life and then quietly faded. There are places that held versions of us that no longer exist. There are conversations that change us forever even if we never spoke again. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things about being alive. Not every precious thing is permanent. Sometimes the value of a story is not measured by how long it lasted. Sometimes it is measured by how deeply it touched us. I remember thinking if someone was truly meant for me, they would stay forever. But life has shown me something gentler than that. Some people are gifts, not destinations. They arrived, they awaken something in us, they teach us how we want to be loved, they show us parts of ourselves we had forgotten, they remind us that our heart is capable of feeling deeply, and then sometimes they leave. That does not erase the gift. We often try to protect ourselves by rewriting the past. We tell ourselves it wasn't real, it didn't mean anything, I was just imagining it. Maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe we can say, it was real, it was beautiful, and it still ended. Both things can be true. I think one of the most mature forms of love is being able to wish someone well, even when they are no longer part of your life. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because love is not always possession. Sometimes love is gratitude. Sometimes love is respect. Sometimes love is quietly hoping that they find peace, joy, health, and a life that feels meaningful to them. I have always been moved by stories where two people, even after everything, still want the best for each other. There is something incredibly pure about that. To say, I may not walk beside you anymore, but I still hope life is kind to you. I hope you laugh often. I hope your dreams come true. I hope you find a love that feels safe. I hope you become everything you're meant to become. That kind of love asks for nothing in return. And I know some people will say, if you really love them, you would fight for them. Sometimes that is true. But sometimes love also knows when to let life unfold. Sometimes the greatest kindness is not forcing a story that is no longer choosing both people. We don't have to turn every ending into tragedy. Some endings are simply shatters. I think about old photographs, old messages, old trips, old versions of ourselves. For a long time, I thought I had to delete everything in order to move on. But now I think memories can exist without becoming prisons. You can keep a memory without living in it. You can smile at a chapter without trying to reopen it. You can honor a person without needing them to return. That is very different from holding on. Holding on says, my life cannot continue without this. Honoring says, this mattered, I will always be grateful, and I will keep living. I also want to say something that I wish someone had told me earlier. A relationship does not have to become forever in order to have been meaningful. Sometimes we place too much value on permanence. We think that only marriage, lifelong friendships, long relationships matter. But a few months can change a life. One conversation can change a life. One trip can change a life. One person can change a life. Length is not the only measure of significance. I think abundance is not only about attracting new things. It is also about recognizing how rich your life has already been. How many beautiful moments have already existed. How many people have already loved you in different ways. How many sunsets have you shared? How many late night conversations? How many quiet walks? How many laughs that still echo somewhere inside you? That is abundance too. Sometimes we are so focused on what ended that we forget that it happened. And what a miracle that is. Out of billions of people in the world, you met. Your lives crossed. You shared time. You created memories that didn't exist before. That is extraordinary. I don't think the goal of healing is to erase those memories. I think the goal is to let them become warm instead of painful. To reach a place where you can think of them and say, thank you. Not because everything was perfect, but because it was part of your becoming. Maybe the person you miss is living a completely different life now. Maybe they are happy, struggling, maybe they think of you sometimes, maybe they don't. You may never know, and perhaps that's okay. Because that story already gave you something. It gave you a memory, a lesson, a feeling. It gave you proof that your heart could open. Don't underestimate that. A heart that has love is not a heart that has failed. It is a heart that had lived. So if you are grieving a beautiful story today, I want to tell you this. You don't have to hate them in order to heal. You don't have to erase them in order to move forward. You don't have to pretend it meant nothing. You are allowed to keep the memory. You are allowed to treasure it. You are allowed to say, I am grateful that we existed. I am grateful that our paths crossed. I am grateful for who I became because of you. And you are allowed to keep walking. Because some stories are not meant to be continued. They are meant to be remembered. And sometimes, the most beautiful stories are the ones that taught us how to love, how to let go, and how to wish another soul a beautiful life, even when that life is no longer shared with ours. So think of someone who was once part of your story. You don't have to reach out. You don't have to go back. Just quietly send them a blessing. I hope you are happy. I hope you are healthy. I hope life is kind to you. And thank you for being one of the most beautiful chapters that made my life what it is today. Some stories end, but they never stop being precious.